Hey everybody, we are back in the kitchen. It is a beautiful Tuesday, seeming very spring-like out there. I figured I'd try and channel my spring through my apron. I try to wear a different apron just to change things up. But today we are going to be making a Buddha bowl with massaged kale and a ginger carrot dressing. This dish has everything in it to keep us young and healthy and vibrant and energetic. A very anti-inflammatory food. It has carrots in it, it has kale, it has chickpeas for healthy fiber. Boy, I could keep going on. Beets, totally anti-inflammatory and good for us. But one of the things that's really nice about this is that carrot ginger dressing. And it's so easy to make, and another way to sneak in a little bit more of those healthy vegetables. Carrots in particular are great for our skin. It has a lot of vitamin A, beta carotene, that is very good at keeping our skin nice and elastic, something as some of us getting a little older likes to know and like to have a little bit more in our diet. Also vitamin C, which is a great immunity booster, as well as helping with the skin. So let's get started, okay? We're going to start making the dressing. And for that, it's easy to do this if you have a blender or a Vitamix. You can try it in the food processor, but it may not get as smooth. Let me just grab a knife, my chef knife. I love using this knife. And I'm just going to use 2 carrots, which should come roughly to about a half cup of chopped carrots. I don't need to chop it up finely because I'm going to be putting it in the blender. I just want to chop it up a little bit. You might notice that I haven't peeled my carrots. These are organic carrots, and I find that when they're organic, I just give them a good scrubbing. I have a special little scrubber that I use that I designate just for cleaning my vegetables. And I will use that then to just clean off any residual dirt there might be on it. But because it's organic, I'm not worried about the pesticides that might be hiding on a conventionally grown vegetable. I'm going to put my carrots now into my food processor here, actually my blender, and I'm going to add in about a half cup of water. Let's see how much I have here. I just put a little bit in without measuring it. I have a little bit more, so I'm just going to put in. The idea is I just want to puree these carrots up nice and smooth. I'm going to add in a little bit of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons. And by the way, if you want the written recipe for this, just private message me, direct message me, and I will send you the written recipe. You may have noticed lately that I've been talking about anti-aging, or aging backwards, as I like to say, anti-inflammatory foods. My big push, my big passion is to have people understand how food can really be your medicine. And one of the things that, as a standard American diet, that we've kind of fallen into the trap is eating a lot of foods that are inflammatory and that cause chronic conditions if not corrected and if done for too long. So when I'm cooking, you'll always hear me talk about anti-inflammatory, very key. So now what I'd like to do is add in some ginger. I'm just going to peel the skin a little bit. You'll notice I'm using a spoon. It works really well just to scrape your spoon along the skin, and it'll come right off. The fresher the ginger, the easier it is to do this. I have a piece here that's fresh, but it has a lot of knobs to it, so it's a little hard to get into all those nooks and crannies. I'm not going to worry about it. Again, this is an organic ginger, so I'm not as concerned about cleaning off the outside. In fact, In a lot of the vegetables that we eat, a lot of fruits and vegetables, most of the antioxidants, most of the phytochemicals that are so good for us are found in the outer skin. So it's actually beneficial to keep them included. I'm just going to grab a plate, and I'm going to grate in about maybe 2 teaspoons. This is a planer that I use. It finely grates or minces. You could do this with garlic or ginger. It's great for zesting citrus skins, citrus peel. If you need an orange or lemon or lime. I'm going to zest or mince about 1 inch of this ginger. If you like the taste of ginger, by all means, you could add more. I find this 1 inch, about 2 teaspoons, add just enough to give it a good flavor. And since it's raw, it will come through very easily. If you don't like that idea, then of course, by all means, add less, right? The beauty of cooking for yourself. So I've added in a little bit of water here, my ginger, my carrots. I want to add in about a tablespoon of soy sauce. And I'm going to add in just the littlest bit of honey. You may find that you don't need that at all. What I would say is, if you'd like to back off on those sugars, those added sugars, by all means, leave it out, taste it, see what you think. We are also going to have in our Buddha bowl very sweet dried cherries. You can use raisins instead, but that will add a nice sweetness to the dish so that you might find that it's just too much with the additional dressing. All right, so I'm just going to add that in. As I said, a teaspoonful of honey. Let me just rinse my hands here, a little sticky. All right. All right, so I've got the soy sauce in, I got the honey, I've got everything that I need. I'm just going to make a little bit of noise here as I pulse and start this mixing. I like to start out a little bit slowly and then boost up the speed. Sorry about that. A lot of noise there. Ooh, that smells so good. Now, the one ingredient I haven't added in yet is some olive oil. I'm going to add in about 1/4 cup, which is about 4 tablespoons. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up my pour spout here. Let me just pour this out. Slowly drizzle it in. That helps incorporate it, helps it stay mixed. It emulsifies it. All right. I'm just going to turn this on. Even with trying to be very careful, I got a little bit spraying out on me there. Let's see how we did. All right. That is a beautiful consistency. Let me just push this down a little bit. There we go. Grab a spatula. Let me just push it down, make sure I have everything blended up nicely. I'm going to give it a little taste. before we finish. Now, a great way to store this in the refrigerator would be in a mason jar. I'm just going to pour it into a little bowl here so you can see the consistency that I have. Oh, let me just taste it, as I said. That is good. I'm trying to decide if I want to add a little salt to it. I think we're good. I have a low salt tamari sauce here. I said soy sauce, but it's actually tamari, which doesn't have the wheat in it. So you could see how nice and creamy that is. I'm going to hold this up so that you can see it, but you can see the consistency. It's like a nice thick dressing. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. Let me get rid of the blender here. Set that aside. All right. Oh, and I guess it would have been helpful for me to pull all of my salad ingredients out of the refrigerator. Luckily, my refrigerator's nearby. It won't be a long trip, but hold on 1 minute. So I did a little bit of prepping before I started today. What did I do? I sliced very thinly some wonderful rainbow radishes that I have. Let's see, did I leave the bag out? No, I didn't. But there's some purple ones here, some red ones, some pink ones, giving me a nice variety of color. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of those to my bowl. I have some kale, and one of the nice things about cooking for yourself too is if you don't have time to chop up your kale or your other veggies, a lot of times you can get them pre-cut. So what I did was I got my carrots shredded. I have to go get those. I forgot to take those out. I got some organic Tuscan kale. I'm going to take a little bit of that out, and I'm going to show you a trick about massaging kale. So I'm going to take out for this dish, for one person, I took out, maybe about two handfuls is more than enough. And what's going to happen, I'm going to prep this kale by adding a little bit of fresh lemon juice. I'm going to roll this lemon on my countertop here, cutting board, just to release some of the juices. And I'm just going to use a fork to poke it a few times. I'm going to get rid of an obvious seed there. Now, a little trick is you can squeeze it out over your hand if you're afraid that you might get a seed. And I got 3. So I'm just going to give it a quick squeeze. That was maybe about a teaspoonful, maybe 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. It's really good to have the lemon juice. That vitamin C helps to release some of the nutrients that are locked up in the kale. So whenever you get a chance to have your greens, I found a seed that I missed. Have your greens with a little bit of vitamin C, like lemon juice or lime juice. It's a great combination. It helps your body absorb what they're giving us. Now what I'm doing here, as you can see, is I'm just squeezing my kale leaves, massaging them, and that actually helps to start breaking down the cells, making it more easily digestible. And you will see it actually looks like it's blanched or semi-cooked. And I'll show you how that looks. Here we go. And as I dish it out into my bowl, I will show you how that looks as well. So let's do that. Let me run and get my carrots. So we've got a double dose of carrots today in our bowl as shredded carrots, but also in our dressing, which is a good thing. Let's see, got a little, my hands are slippery from the olive oil. There we go. So I have some shredded carrots. All right. And I have my kale. I also spiralized some raw beets. Beets have betaine, which is a wonderful antioxidant, an anti-aging agent, right? So we're going to add that as well. I use my spiralizer. If you're not familiar with the spiralizer, I'll have to do something with it for another. I think I actually look at my YouTube and you'll see. I did a spiralizing of zucchini to make zucchini noodles, but they make these great long spirals. Hey Jerry, so good to see you. All right, so let me grab my bowl. All right, and what's nice about this is I can, now my hands are clean. I'll make them dirty again, right? I'm just going to layer in my kale. Now I want to show you the consistency of that kale to show you how it looks. Do you see? It almost looks like it's been parboiled, and it makes it more digestible. I'm going to add next to that some of my shredded carrot. Again, another little handful. And I'm putting them in sections in the bowl. You can layer them on top of each other if you want to. Whatever your preference is. And then in one section, I'm going to put my, now, just to let you know, you can cut these before you put them in so they're not quite so long. I kind of think they're fun this way, and you can cut them up as you are eating them. But it does make for a really fun presentation. And if you like to play with your food, this is a good way to do it. Okay, so now I have my bowl starting to take shape. All right, let me see. So I've got my carrot, my beet. Don't want to forget my radishes. So remember I said I had those multicolored rainbow radishes. I am just going to put those right down the middle. Why not? How fun is that? And make a nice display. So the trick about eating anti-inflammatory foods is to get a variety of color. Look at all the color that we have in that, because each one of those antioxidants or phytochemicals that are in there, flavonoids, are a different color. And you can see we're working on that right here. I would like to, at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of avocado. Avocado is great. It adds some fiber and some healthy fats, monounsaturated fats. So I'm going to just cut this down in slices. Would have been good if I'd gotten everything together before I started this, huh? All right, and I'm just going, so what I did was I just sliced down lengthwise, and I'm just going to take a spoon now and just scoop out those slices. Let's see, where do I want to layer them in my bowl? I'm going to move my, all right, and I'm just going to spread them out a little bit into my plate. So that was about a half avocado. So you can see we're constructing a beautiful bowl here. Now I would like to add, I found some dried Bing cherries with no added sugars. It's not very easy to find dried fruit without added sugars. So I don't tend to like to use them, but I found these at Trader Joe's. I thought, ooh, that sounds good. So I am going to add in a little row of those in. They are so sweet. You could also use raisins. If you'd like, you could slice some apricots and put those in. Any dried fruit will add just a little bit of sweetness to the dish and a little bit of texture to it as well. I have that. And then the final touch will be, I have some raw pumpkin seeds that I'm going to also sprinkle on top. All right. So here we have this beautiful bowl, all right, filled with all these wonderful colors and textures, healthy fats and fibers. And I have my dressing. Remember that carrot dressing that I made earlier? For presentation, I can just drizzle this on top, or you can leave this to the side and have people serve. This is actually quite a big bowl. Maybe it'd be enough for 2 people. Maybe not if you're really hungry. But what you can do then is just drizzle this over. And what I like to do is I like to put a little bit on top, but then leave this as I'm eating it, or as I present it, pass it around the table so people can add more to the plate if they'd like. So there you have it. This is our finished dish. It is a beautiful, healthy, anti-inflammatory, aging backwards meal to have. So I hope you get to try this. If you don't have these particular ingredients, the good thing about this is you can go into your refrigerator. If you have green beans, you can use green beans. Romaine lettuce instead of the kale works really well. If you don't have shredded carrots, just chop up a carrot and use it that way. Beets, you can use roasted beets. Brings out the flavor. Some people don't like the raw beet, so a roasted beet is particularly good for this as well. What else can you do? If you had some, oh, I forgot an important ingredient. I roasted some chickpeas. So to roast the chickpeas, you just, what I like to do is I like to dry them a bit first, because if you don't dry them, they don't get crunchy when you roast them. I roasted these at 400 degrees with a little bit of olive oil, pepper, and salt for about a half hour. And here, let's try that again now that I have my chickpeas. The chickpeas are great because they add a little bit of protein to it, the dish as well, and additional fiber. All really good things. So again, you could add walnuts or pecans instead of the chickpeas if you'd like. Give it a little bit of crunch. If you have peas, that's a great spring vegetable. You're likely to find a lot of those fresh peas around pretty soon. Or pea pods work really well too. Snap peas as well. So all different substitutions that you can use. If you make the dish, please let me know. Please, if you would like more information on inflammatory foods or anti-inflammatory foods, you can look at my website. You can get in touch with me via my email, which is just eveyschweig@me.com, or direct message me, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. I actually have a way of testing blood to determine the specific foods that might be causing an inflammatory reaction for you. Happy to help you with that as well. So I hope you enjoyed the dish. If you have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment box. If you don't have any questions, leave a comment too, and let me know if you enjoyed the show. I will be back again next Tuesday, or maybe I won't be back next Tuesday. I might be traveling. Looks like things are opening up. So if I miss you, I will definitely have a replay of one of my older classes. But in the meantime, enjoy the food. Please stay healthy, stay well. Enjoy getting out and getting a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of vitamin D in the process as the weather starts getting nicer. And I will see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.